sleeping for a different look.
Sometimes it says weak signal in the beginning, I noticed.
Yeah, just give it a second.
We are live. Okay. All right. Welcome to the big show, everybody. This is Becoming an Artist Live. This is a travel and photography show. It's all about you and kind of helping you down your own personal artistic path. Every week we're in a different location somewhere around the world. We talk about cool gadgets and toys. We take photos. We do live Q&A. If this is the kind of thing that sounds interesting to you, just click that little friendly subscribe as it scrolls up. Start asking your questions right now, and we're here for you guys. So this is a special show that we do once a week, Curtis. Once again, you guys might notice that this is not Ruby sitting beside me. Where is Ruby, Curtis?
I don't know. It's like Waldo. We're always trying to figure out where Ruby is.
Right.
But she is getting ready to embark on a 6-week tour of Italy, or a tour of Europe, actually. And Italy is one of her stops.
Yeah, she's going to be traveling Ruby.
Yeah.
When she's traveling, she will not be here being my assistant, which is...
Right.
I'm happy for her, but I do like having her help around.
No, she's been good, but and we do need help, but we'll figure out a way.
Yeah, we've got a plan.
Yeah.
We have a backup plan.
Yes.
Today, the backup plan is Curtis. So he'll be taking all your questions, and he'll be kind of assimilating all this stuff. He has a little spreadsheet here and keeps track of that stuff. Any questions rolling in so far, Curtis?
Well, just a lot of hellos from California, Charlotte, North Carolina, and all sorts of places. And but I would like to start with one, which was true to your heart. Okay. So, which is, how has meditation played a role in your photography?
Hey, who asked that?
That was Philip Aaron.
Okay.
Double name, Philip Aaron.
Okay, Philip. Here's my answer. I like those kind of questions. Although, it was kind of, egg after the chicken, in that I didn't really discover meditation until I've been taking photos for 5 or 6 years. I got started with photography when I turned 35. Now I am a tender 44. That's when I got my first DSLR and that kind of stuff. And it took me a while to feel my way around, but I knew that I loved photography. I mean, if you guys take photos, you know what I mean. You just love it, and you don't know why you like photography. You just love it. You can't really put words around it. But I think what happens is that I was accidentally meditating for a long time with photography, because you know what it's like when you're staring through that lens. You're very present, right? You're not worried about stupid stuff you said in the past. You're not vexed about the future, or the mystery or fiction of the future. You're just very present. And of course, when you're present, you're very conscious. And this really is what meditation is. Now, I discovered it much later when I got into yoga and meditation both at the same time. These are not prerequisites to becoming an interesting photographer or anything, but I do find they really help, right? The more time I spend meditating, it quiets my mind, and I can kind of see the matrix, When faced with a decision or response, I just kind of am quiet for a moment, and I kind of look at the whole situation. I don't always come up with a good artful solution to a photographic or life situation, but I tend to do a little bit better. You know what we should do?
Yes.
I forgot to say this.
Right.
Now that I answered that question, this is actually the special episode that we do. I don't know if you watch Walking Dead, but there's another show that's on after Walking Dead called Talking Dead. Hold on, I gotta get this call. Explain what the show premise is.
Yes. All right. Yes.
This is Trey.
We have a new series, Becoming an Artist, and it's 15 episodes. You can find out at Stuck&Custom/Becoming an Artist on our website. And each week we're releasing one of the episodes. And then we take down the previous week's episode. So you can get the whole series on our website, but we're pleased to release these each week on, I know everybody's watching from around the globe, but just as a point of reference, it would be Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. and then we do this show directly afterwards discussing the episode. And this is the second episode, The Little Person and Jabba Hutt's Tale, and Trey will tell you briefly about that now. It's a little awkward. We have to take a brief private phone call, but we're here. Did he tell you where we were at today? At the Vogel Cafe, is that the name?
Vogel Cafe.
Vogel Cafe here in Dunedin. It's actually really cool. It's kind of like a Brooklyn hipster style coffee shop, and super awesome coffee. It was great coffee culture in New Zealand. And then we've got this flatbread in front of us you can't see. and we're drinking some wine. I'm not sure what we're drinking.
Sandpiper Shiraz.
Sandpiper Shiraz today. Never too early to drink, but it is 2 p.m. here, so it's all right. We're doing well. All right, let me see who's saying hi. Hello, Matthew McCarty. Matthew is always watching. I'm not sure what Matthew's job is day to day, but he seems to always have plenty of time to watch Facebook Live broadcasts. And we have people from all over.
Good news.
Yes. Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, LA, California.
I'm back.
All right.
Sorry, that was a call from a doctor, so I had to take it.
You should tell
But
him.
everything's okay.
I don't know. Should you out your son on this?
All right. Here's a funny story. So I'm down here in Dunedin because there's some family medical stuff going on. I'm here for a week, actually. And my son, all the kids are back in Queenstown with the grandparents, all right? And they can be a little lax sometimes, and they're also pretty easy to trick. Anyway, my son, who's in high school, he went down to the bus stop today, and that was the last we heard of him, right? And then on my email, I got an alert that he was absent. So I called him. I said, "What's going on? Why are you at school?" And he goes, "What's the name of the day he gave you, Melissa?"
Tiki Popo.
Yeah, Tiki Popo. He goes, "Dad, it's Tiki Popo Day, and we don't have school on Tiki Popo Day. None of my friends are going to school." I was like, "What do you mean Tiki Popo Day?" They're like, "We have these Maori words down here." I said, "Are you suddenly channeling your inner Maori that what are you talking about?" And so I called up the school, I looked at the website, school's on like normal. So I called him and go, "What is this Tiki Popo Day nonsense? It's ridiculous." He goes, "Well, I was standing waiting for the bus and I got a text from my friend, and my friend said it was Tiki Popo Day." That is ridiculous. So anyway, classic Ethan. He got to stay home because of this ruse, this Tiki Popo ruse. Okay, so I'm gonna press play here, unless you already did.
No.
Okay,
I couldn't
play.
see.
There we go. All right, so you explained the premise of the show.
I explained the premise,
Okay,
but I did not talk about this episode today.
So this is every week we release different episode. This is called "The Little Person and Jabba the Hutt's Tale." It's one of my favorite episodes, actually, of the whole series, where I tell this fun story about me discovering Star Wars with my dad in 1977, and then 20 years later, how I took him to the new set of movies that came out in 1997. So it's like lots of little life learnings in there, and like an analysis of George Lucas and all this stuff. And when you watch this, I tell you behind the scenes stuff that I don't talk about in this show, either because it's too long-winded or it really has nothing to do with the premise of the show. But I will tell you this one funny thing. So when we're going to the premiere, it's me, my dad, and then the little person. And but also in our car we had a stripper in the car with us.
I don't remember this part of the story.
No, my dad knows this part of the story, but it has so much nothing to do with the story. But it is a fun aside. Yeah, she was this crazy blonde girl. I don't even know why she was in our car. It wasn't like she was the girlfriend of the little person.
How old were you again?
In 1997, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like mid-20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a 7-year-old Trey going, "Dad, what is the girl in the short skirt doing?"
Yeah. What's she doing getting out of the short skirt? Yeah, she was quite vivacious, and she was like dressed crazy like a club girl, and I didn't know. I think like there were lots of limos for this charity event, and she just got in ours. And then she found out I was involved with technology. She goes, I'm building an X-rated website. Will you make my website? I was like, maybe, but I didn't end up doing that. It turned out to be such a ridiculous thing.
Right.
But anyway, she was part of this whole scene at the Star Wars premiere for some reason.
Yes.
Completely random guest.
Right. All right. Would you like another question?
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't know. What do you want to take an attempt on pronouncing this this Greek name here?
I don't even know what the letters are.
Yeah. So,
Greek letters.
yes, being a fellow photographer, how can you financially travel and get paid for your photos? Are you self-invested, contracted out? I think a lot of people always, you know, like when men talk to each other, they always say, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
And then when we tell them you're a photographer, the second thing they said, "Well, how do you make money?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, people are always really interested in this money thing, and regular fans or people that watch the show know that I don't really talk about it that much. Not because I'm trying to be evasive or whatever. I know it's a very interesting subject, but to me, like, money can kind of foul stuff up, right? If you're an artist, there's this really violent collision of money and art. Okay, so Curtis and everyone else at our organization will tell you that the art always comes first. For some reason, the money really works out quite well also. We do have a few different revenue streams. Everything from public speaking to fine art. We do these big prints. I don't know if you've been watching Facebook this week, but I released a video on there that shows how we do our fine art prints. They're huge, they're enormous. They're like 3 meters across, which is almost 10 feet across. They're all printed in Germany. We only do 3 prints of each one. We picked like 18 of my favorite works, maybe in a series. 18 or 21?
21.
21. And we only do 3 prints of each one. And the first 2 prints cost like $75,000 each. And number 3 out of 3 cost $95,000 each. I don't know if you saw our last show that was on, but we had on Sir Michael Hill at the Hills. He's a royal knight of the realm here in New Zealand. Anyway, he's one of our collectors, and he has one of our works hanging in his home here in New Zealand. We'll go visit that later. So that's a revenue stream. I really don't do client work, or I hardly ever do client work. I get asked a lot. That's a whole nother subject, why I don't do it. I could go on and on. But yeah, mostly we just kind of pick a location that I've never been to, that I've wanted to travel to. And I just go there and just explore, get lost, and take photos. And then, you know, later, Curtis and I put on our business hats, and we're like, okay, well, what should we do next? But I find that the universe provides. Nice stuff just kind of falls into our lap. I feel very lucky. I'm very grateful. I don't take any of this for granted. And I thank all of you guys very much. This wouldn't be possible without all of you, so thank you.
So that question,
Yes.
was clarified. It was asked by Jennifer. She's Russian.
Yes.
So I
right.
mistakenly identified them as Greek lettering, but it's Russian.
Oh, that's right.
All right. So now the next question. I have another question for you.
Yes.
Any thoughts on how people butcher HDR or completely miss the point of it?
Yes.
And this was asked. I'm sorry,
Right.
Austin Gabler. Austin.
Okay, Austin, that's a good question. I have a great answer because I have a vast amount of experience in butchering HDR myself. Back in the good old days, the halcyon days of, you know, Photomatics 1.0. And now we've moved on to this new thing we made called Aurora HDR, which is much more elegant, I think. Certainly much more elegant than Photomatics 1.0. So, I think one of the first ebooks we released was like 10 common mistakes in HDR and how to fix them. And what I did in that is I picked 10 of my earliest works and I analyzed them about like how terrible they were. But I didn't know it at the time. But once you have someone point this stuff out to you, you're like, oh, I get it. And then you can't unsee it. So, for example, one thing that happens with HDR is it can make the clouds look crazy, right? Super cray. And let's say you have blue skies and fairly textured clouds, right? Some cumulonimbus or some cumulus clouds up there. Well, the HDR process will really texture them and make them look kind of grungy. And they might make it look so grungy that some of your clouds turn black, like you might have a black edge on it. And if you think about it, like, it looks kind of cool, but then when you think about it, you're like, it's impossible to have black clouds and blue sky at the same time. You can have black clouds if it's just clouds, because you can make it like really stormy and weird, but otherwise it just has a little bit of a weird feeling to it. Other HDR problems that are common are like the greens can come off a little bit fluorescent or too yellow, so you have to learn to tone that down over time.
The brassy, or maybe the glow sometimes around trees.
Right, sometimes there's a halo.
Yeah.
It's called a halo effect. and that's done with local contrasting, and there's ways to get rid of that. Yeah, I've been releasing a lot of free HDR videos if you want to see. If you just go to our channel, it's on Facebook. You can see all kinds of different HDR examples of using Aurora HDR Pro and how I fix things like halos or overly textured areas or what have you. Yeah.
All right, Leo, who is watching from England.
Hello, Leo. Hey, by the way, if you guys are watching from somewhere in the world, we're here at Dunedin. Tell us where you're watching from, because I can see all these comments come up. It's so cool to see where people are watching from.
He wants to know what breed of dog Blueberry is.
All right. Hello, Leo from England. Blueberry is a Labradoodle, which is half poodle, half Labrador, and really sweet dog. I wanted a dog that didn't shed, and Blueberry doesn't shed. That's nice. I mean, I hate to say that's her #1 quality, is that she doesn't shed, but it is a quality that I appreciate very much. She's very sweet. We got her as a puppy, and the girls would they wrestle with her and put her in all these crazy positions, and she just licks them. So she's like the calmest, sweetest dog ever.
Yeah. I look for that in all my women. No shedding.
No shedding. Right. And flexible.
Right.
Right.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Jerome, what software do you use to reduce noise in your photos? Noise reduction software.
Noise reduction software. Well, I use two things. Either I use Aurora HDR Pro, which has its own noise slider, which you can dial up and down. I have a video on that, a free video you might want to see. And actually what I do, honestly, is I find there's different levels of noise in the picture. Sometimes there's noise in the lower part of the photo where there's texture-y stuff, and I don't really mind it so much down there because it kind of adds to the texture. I might want to decrease it a little bit. But up in the sky, the noise is much more pronounced, right? So what I'll typically do is I'll create a new layer in HDR Pro, and then there's under the HDR denoise panel, there's smooth, and then there's something called super smooth. So I move both those things up, and then I just paint it in the sky, and it's just, as smooth and clean as an Instagram Asian. It's fantastic. The other thing that I'll use is if you're using Photoshop, is I'll open up the Camera Raw filter, and I'll denoise inside of there. It's the same thing that's in Lightroom, and it's great. It basically does the whole job for you. So those are the two tools I use. I used to use Noise Ninja and all this other nonsense, but I just stick with those two now.
All right. So maybe this is the antithesis of this, but Christine Berry, she's asking on how to make her photos sharper.
Yes.
And so she seems like she has been shooting for 3 years. She always sort of misses it. And I just don't know if there's any tips. I'm gonna check. I don't remember if she mentioned which camera she used, but I remember you used to have a little problem on your Nikon.
Yes. So sharpness can be a problem for sure. I have noticed that since I switched to mirrorless cameras, even though I kind of am switching back now to medium format Hasselblads, I'm in between worlds. I'm very confused in my current status of my cameras that I'm using. But when I switched to mirrorless, my shots got much sharper, and that's because you're actually seeing through the screen what the final photo will be, because you're seeing what the sensor is showing you. And with mirrorless cameras, you can zoom into 100% and do little fine adjustments, right? Put it in manual focus and do little fine adjustments so you're sure it's sharp. And every single time, it's just tack sharp. I notice sometimes with my Nikon.
She does shoot with Nikon.
Okay.
Nikon 810.
Yeah, so I had a D800. I switched to mirrorless before the D810. But when that mirror flips up and down, even if there's a 0.5 millimeter difference in the focus, it might come out a little bit soft. So what I recommend with that camera, this would work all the time basically, is that you just you go into live view, okay, and manual focus, especially at night, okay. Zoom into 100%. It's basically the same as a mirrorless camera in that way. Zoom into 100%, adjust the focus really fine, and then set your timer and take the shot, and you'll be good. That's the only way to be sure you're gonna get a clean shot. Of course, that only works on a tripod environment when you can take your time. For sports or birds or animals or that kind of stuff, it's just take a lot of shots and maybe one will be in focus.
All right. Well, I'll mention this one. Brian Watkins, he's letting us know that he's quite nervous because he feels like your elbow is going to knock off the laptop at any moment. But
That's
anyway.
a valid concern.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Here's also a super popular question we get a lot. James Coxman says, what is your workflow while traveling? You know,
Right.
Situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
and we did a tutorial on this, but I mean, we can't go into the whole thing. But I know it's mainly, you know, you get back and what do you do with your catalog?
Yeah.
It's a mess.
we did. So if some of you guys have bought the Lightroom tutorial, we recently did a free update to it. So go to the website, you could download the new update to it that shows my exact workflow, my evolved workflow. And actually every time I go on a trip now, you know, no matter where it is, like if it's, you know, China or Europe or even just up to the North Island of New Zealand, what I do is I kind of analyze, okay, what is my workflow for this trip? You know, I begin again fresh. I think about the previous trip, what did or didn't work, and I try to adjust. So I have now made my MacBook Pro my one and only computer, ostensibly. We have other computers around the house for the family, but I used to have like my laptop and my desktop. And I thought, okay, I got to make both of these worlds live together, because when I travel, I want to use my laptop, and then when I get home, I want to use my desktop. And I think I was kind of under the illusion, this is probably from my old PC days. I used to build my own gaming PCs, all this sort of thing. And I always thought that, you know, tower PCs were just more powerful, right? And then I got a Mac Pro, and I thought, okay, this is going to be the bomb. The Mac Pro is going to be so fast, and I want to use this all the time. But then when I started using the new MacBook Pro, like, I really can't tell the difference. They both seem incredibly fast, especially just for common stuff I'm doing, like Lightroom, Aurora, Photoshop. It seems perfectly capable. So what I decided to do was just use this. That makes everything much easier, by the way. Now I do have two Lightroom catalogs, okay? There's a large food service truck going behind us here.
And backing up.
And backing up. We're about to hear some beeping. By the way, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're watching from. We're here in Dunedin. We're on the very south part of the southern island of New Zealand. It's beautiful down here. I'll be here for the whole week. We're outside of this place called the Vogel Street Kitchen, which is just down from my batch for the day. So while I'm traveling, what I do now is I take my laptop and I delete all the photos off of it before the trip, okay, so that it's clean. I make a new Lightroom catalog, so I have a brand new Lightroom catalog that's clean, nothing in it, okay, and then I go on the trip and I start importing all my photos into Lightroom. Now, I take a lot of photos, okay, and this could basically fit about 3 or 4 weeks worth of photos, and most of my trips aren't any longer than that, okay? So then I've got that catalog, but I've got my motherload catalog, which has all my stuff in there, just in the background. And then I come back home and I merge the two catalogs into one, okay? Yeah. Simple. So that's sort of a simplistic answer. It's a little bit more to it than that, but it's a problem, right? Because even though I know what I'm doing, I still have to think about it. I still have to sit there for 30 seconds and think like, okay, Trey, what are you doing? Like, where are your files? Where are your pictures? Where are your catalogs? So it's not that easy. It's a problem.
I've actually watched that. Every time I come back from a trip, because you do it far more frequently, but I beat pretty much, so I do it again, and I'm like, I have to go watch that tutorial again, and I go, okay, where am I doing? Because it's not. It should be simpler. But
it should be simpler. I'd like to think I'm a pretty smart guy, and that I have tried so many. I want the most efficient, smart way to do it, and I think I found it. It really works well for me. It doesn't take that long.
Plus, you got an external drive, and it just can get hairy.
Yeah.
Well, as we're running, we only have a couple minutes left.
Yes.
You know, last time we looked at some photos from the new community. You want to do that?
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
let me pull that up. Tell them about the community while we're.
Okay, right.
And you have to talk of this truck. We're getting a little feedback to the truck here.
They left the truck on. So we have a new group on Facebook, okay? It's called Trey's Funky Lounge or something. And the idea about it is that, like, the group isn't about me, it's about you, and it's about your art and your own artistic journey. I find everybody is struggling with different things. Like, I'm currently struggling with like 3 different things in my photography life. And you know, we're all part of like the same continuum. So this is like a really safe place for you to come share your photos, to ask for critiques, to share what your thoughts or worries are, and just to get to know fellow people that are part of the community. I think as you guys are watching this, you see the little hashtag down there, Pound Becoming. So throw your stuff on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere with Pound Becoming, and like, I get to see almost everything. I am able to see almost every thread inside this group. We'll link to it from this show. So please go join, and the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. And also, if you want to take everything to even the next level, right? We started something last year called The Arcanum. You go check this thing out. It's called www.thearcanum.com, ARCANUM. And it's a really cool system with this master and apprentice system, right? So you can sign up as an apprentice, and then a master will select you, or you'll be matched with a master, and then you have these challenges and really fun quests, and you do critiques, and anyway, it's incredible. Okay.
So we've got the view of images, so maybe if you want to pick out 1 or 2, and if you click on it, you'll be able to see what's from.
Right, okay, so maybe can I grab the camera so I can see what I'm looking at?
Let me come get
We
that.
have our iPhone on a tripod. We just got a special iPod just for this, or iPhone just for this show. Okay. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Like that. Okay. So here's our cool group. So those of you that are active in the group see that I go through and I make a lot of comments and likes and that kind of stuff. So I do see everything. I don't get a chance to, actually like or comment on everything. Let's see here. I just saw one quite recently that was really good. A lot of them stood out to me lately. Oh, this is kind of neat. This is one of the girls from one of our videos. Her name is Desert Rose. I think she's from episode 10 or something. And this is Gary Beller's interpretation. So he got the whole package, he got all the raws, and he's able to work on the photos himself. By the way, that's her. If you want to follow her on Facebook, her name is Ruth Roman. She is a real character. She introduced herself at breakfast to us, and she goes, "Hello everybody, I'm the Desert Rose." We were like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Okay, I gotta show you this photo. This photo I've been looking at for days. It keeps coming up in the feed. I noticed that some of the photos that keep coming up are ones that get the most comments, and this is one I keep looking at. Isn't that pretty? This is from an artist named Martin Pott. I think that's a German name. Yeah, seems like a great guy. I love this photo so much. I love it because it's not overwrought, it's not overdone. It's just beautiful. I don't have a bad thing to say about it. It's all foggy. The lines and the shapes and the colors are really nice. Yeah, it's great. And also, like, I'm just noticing this actually. I like his. I mean, Martin, you are a very good community member. Look at this nice post. He's talking about his struggles that he's going through, asking you what you think, if these questions are relevant or not. Yeah, he's talking about his inner voice, talking aloud. It's great. I mean, this is the kind of stuff. And this is actually a secret thing on how you grow as an artist, is you are very vulnerable and you talk about this stuff like with an open heart. And the more open your heart is, the faster and more elegantly you become an artist. Seems to be the case. All right, here you go, Melissa. Thank you very much. By the way, Melissa, I'll give Melissa a plug for being our handy camera lady today. She actually has a pretty cool business. It's called More Time for Photos. When she takes the reins of all your accounting and all that back office nonsense that you hate doing, like I hate paperwork. He'll tell you. Yeah, I really hate the paper. So she does all that, for wedding photographers or portrait photographers or whatever, and so you can have more time.
There, just for us.
Okay.
Now, back up.
Now we're back on. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Up, down.
Sorry for the connection problems,
Down.
guys. All right. Well, we're gonna end this now. We always, by the way, show what wine we're drinking. These are never paid spots, by the way. All the stuff we mentioned, just stuff we like. This is a Shiraz from Australia. All Shirazes are from Australia, right?
Yeah, well, there's Syrah and Shiraz, but they're the same
Right.
thing. I've been told.
This is the Sandpiper Barossa 2014. All right. Tell it's a Sandpiper because there's a picture of a Sandpiper on it.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for watching. It was lots of fun. Thank you for your great questions, and we will catch you very soon with the next secret surprise episode, which is so double secret, I can't even tell you.
We can't even tell them when it is.
We can't even tell you when it's going to be on. Just subscribe to the show, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And by the way, if you watch this long, 1,000 thank yous. You can also go up to the little like on our page, do a little drop down, and say like see first. So that way we won't get buried in the algorithm or whatever.
Right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And from Dunedin, Trey and Curtis out.
Drop mic.
Now I press finish.
Yep.
Finish.